Welcome to the simple Orphie guide in 6 minutes, and let's get right into it. Orphie is an aftershock based fire sub DPS and buffer. She has a special resource called bottle heat as shown as in the bar above that caps out at 125, but you need 100 bottle heat to use the EX special laser. EX special laser is when you hold EX special with enough bottle heat. When the EX special laser hits the enemy like this, all your squad mates will get something called a zeroed in buff. For 12 seconds, they'll give agents 280 attack plus 700 if you max out her energy regen requirements, which I will go through later. Triggering Aftershock will also extend the zeroed in buff by 4 seconds every time you trigger Aftershock, up to a max of 20 seconds. So this means that non-Aftershock based agents like Seed will only get 12 seconds of uptime on the zeroed in buff and will have to use Orphie's EX special a lot more to ensure the buff uptime. On the other hand, if you have Aftershock based agents like Anby, you will be enjoying a nice 32 seconds of uptime from the zeroed in buff. Which means that for Anby, Orphie stays off field most of the time. For Seed, she stays on field most of the time. Her EX special laser will also trigger a quick assist like so. So make sure Orphie comes before your main DPS in your team lineup. So as you might have guessed, your mission here is to build as much bottled heat as possible to cast EX special laser that will buff your team and do lots of damage, keeping the buff zeroed in up at all times. Note that with Seed, this will be a lot more difficult to pull off. On screen are ways to get bottled heat. Just a couple things to note. With her tap special, when you have enough energy, you want a basic attack immediately after doing it to get more energy as well. Her ult is also like Bernice, so you want to press Q and then you want to swap off to extend the laser firing duration. Other ways to generate bottled heat are basically chain attack, off-field attacks that happen every 5 seconds. All of these pretty much generate 20 bottled heat. As for Orphie's rotation, well, Orphie doesn't really have like a standard rotation per se. Like mentioned earlier, you want to just collect as much bottle heat as possible depending on the situation, cast as much EX special lasers to buff your team as much as possible. Much easier with Aftershock based agents like Anby and much harder with non-Aftershock based agents like Seed. I'm going to show you a sample rotation over here. Basically, I'm going to try and build trigger Sunbow like so. Since I have energy, I'm gonna make it go golden like so.
Sound strategy.
Swap off to Orphie, do the EX special laser, swap off into Anby, and then basically go to town. And that's basically the rotation. Now let's talk about her stats required and drive disc. Very important note for Orphie, as mentioned earlier, you need to meet her ER requirements. Orphie needs around 80% to 140% energy recharge to meet her energy needs to maximize her buff over here in the core talent. Maximum buff at 140% is really only possible with the signature W engine, unfortunately. After that, you can pretty much focus on crit rate and crit damage and then attack percentage. Remember that she gets 25% crit rate from her passive, so plan your crit rate so you don't overcap. For example, with her signature W engine, you really only need around 43% crit rate to max it out and then you can focus on crit damage. For disc drives, you want 4-piece Shadow Harmony and 2-piece Swing Jazz for that sweet energy regen. Slot 4 should be crit damage since you're getting a lot of crit rate inherently. Slot 5 can either be attack percentage or fire damage depending on which one has better substats, but if they're both around the same level of substats, attack is better for a Anby team and fire damage is better for a Seed team. Slot 6 should be, you guessed it, energy regen. This is so that you can meet the core passive requirement. As you can see, the 2-piece gives me 20%, the piece gives me 60%, and the W engine gives me 60%, which makes me meet the 140 energy regen requirement to max out her core passive buff. Well, let's talk about W engines. Obviously, her signature is the best. It gives you a lot of crit rate, it gives you a lot of aftershock damage, it gives you a lot of energy regen, I mean, a call passive. Basically everything Orphie needs. As for the best F2P option, you want to be looking at Gilded Blossom. Most of the damage will be coming from her EX special lasers, so this is a really nice damage increase for a F2P W engine. Now let's talk about teams. For teams, I reckon she actually has two premium teams. Let's start off with the classic Obo squad with Orphie, Seed, and Trigger. With this team, as mentioned earlier, Orphie will have a lot more on-field time in order to do a lot more EX special lasers to keep that buff uptime. Seed will, however, though, do a lot of damage, so yeah. The next team is gonna be Orphie, Anby, and Trigger. Is a huge Anby buff. As mentioned earlier, since Anby is aftershock based, you will have no problems keeping the buff uptime, and Orphie will primarily be off-field until you need to refresh the buff. If you don't have Seed or Anby, Soldier 11 works as well. Evelyn also sort of works, but this will not be better than Evelyn's signature team of Evelyn, Lider, and Astra. If you don't have Trigger, you can basically replace her with either Nicole or Astra as well. Hope the guide helped, and I'm just gonna enjoy Orphie. Yes, this angle is essential to the plot. See ya.